Today on Rockfeed, we are very fortunate to be joined by Matt and Neil from 3 Days Grace. Very, very privileged to have them here with us today, turning it around on short notice. How are you guys doing today here in Virginia Beach?
Very good, man.
Good. So you guys have been here for a couple days. How has that been for you guys so far?
It was nice to be able to, swim in the ocean, good weather. It's beautiful, man.
So you guys are currently on tour with Breaking Benjamin. You guys have Chevelle as well on this tour. What has it been like being out this summer with both of those bands?
It's been awesome. I mean, it's almost like it's a reunion of sorts, you know, because back in the late 2000s, we and Benjamin were touring all over the place for several years, and then we've got a big history with Chevelle as well. So a lot of familiar faces, and the shows have all been huge. A little bit of a heat spell in some places, so the shows have been hot, sweaty, amazing rock shows.
One of the things that's interesting about 3 Days Grace is that you guys are quite literally a record-breaking band. I understand that this year, or was it last year, you guys achieved, you're one of the few bands to ever be named on the rock charts for some sort of consecutive number. Is that correct?
Yeah, we've had a few, I guess we've had a few runs on three of our records. I think that we had three number ones in a row or something. We don't get too wrapped up in the stats, but when we found out that we had beaten Van Halen for most number ones, I was like, what? That was pretty crazy to think, but we owe it to the fans and for the industry for the support, because this has been a journey, you know what I mean, and there's been like a lot of twists and turns along the way, and to have so many people that have supported us, and it's crazy to think, but Matt's been in the band for, it'll be like over 6 years, it'll be coming up on seven years,
December,
and we've been lucky enough to have 5 number ones with Matt, so it's like, it's just been this amazing journey that we're just still humbled by, and like we just don't take it for granted.
That's what a lot of people too don't, I don't want to say they don't realize it, because obviously it's happening and you guys have a massive fan base, but you've been in the band for quite a long time at this point, and you guys never stopped cranking out hits. It's like one of the things that I like about you guys is that you have a knack for writing songs that just really hit home with people, and whether it's those songs that bring good energy, or things like The Mountain, which I listen to on a regular basis, or songs that are particularly sad. For you guys, what goes into writing a 3 Days Grace record?
I think we talk about what goes on personally and around us, and I think it, like with every song, it has to be like apply to somebody, and I feel like people use it as medicine almost, and can put themselves in that place. I think this band's always been about that, about writing about real subjects.
And you guys always have, whether it's about relationships or overcoming personal struggles or anything like that. There are a lot of people out there I know that are seeing you guys out on tour right now. What is next for you guys after this run? What's coming down the pipe for you guys?
Well, we got this tour, and then we have most of October off, and then we start up with Five Finger Death Punch. We're doing like a good big tour with them too. That'll pretty much take us to the end of the year. And then I think 2020 we're gonna kind of go back to the drawing board and really start to, like, we're not gonna globetrot like we have been for the, we've been going so hard, in the last since September. Matt and I were in Africa actually, and then right after that we went to Europe all the way to Russia, and then right after that was a Canadian tour.
Since
then after that was Disturbed, and then Europe again, and now this and that, then 5. So at the end of this year, I think that, we have a lot of creative ideas too. We have some cool song ideas that we're super stoked about, but it kind of takes getting home and decompressing and getting into that zone to kind of really get the creativity.
And we spend a lot of time on it. Like we'll write a song, and then we'll come in the next day, rewrite the song. Was that better? Is it better? Yeah, it's better. And then we'll work on that. And like we take a lot of time on songs. Like we don't write the first thing and they're like, yeah, that's it. We like really like try to make it the best we possibly can.
I think that shows too that when there's craftsmanship, and you don't just, some bands will just, every song that they write just makes it on the album, or something like that, and they don't ever necessarily just rewrite anything. But I think particularly if you're writing songs that connect with large groups of people, like your music certainly does, I think that you can't just spit something out and expect it to connect. I'm glad that you brought something up. You guys were in Africa recently. I saw that video like yesterday. something my aunt and uncle do is they go over there and they volunteer. How did that happen for you guys? And then what was that like?
Well, we have a friend that works at World Vision Canada, so we had embarked on raising a bit of money for a water project. Right now, there's just so many people in the areas we ended up visiting don't have access to drinking water, and so it started that we just added $1 to every ticket for this Canadian tour we did. But the tour that was supposed to happen before that with Avenged Sevenfold had to be canceled because M Shadows had to get throat surgery.
Yep.
So then that's when it turned into our buddy from World Vision contacting us going, so I see you're free. Do you want to go to Africa? And we were just like, sure. And so we went there and just visited, just kind of saw it with our own eyes, some of the challenges that they're facing, with access to clean drinking water and child protection and stuff is like nothing we've ever seen before. So we came back pretty inspired to kind of spread the word and kind of do something. So we've kind of embarked on this thing that we're calling the 3DG Kenya Water Project, where we're just raising money and raising awareness and hopefully gonna help some people get some access to water.
At the very core level, it's like there's a lot of causes out there, and there's so many different worthy causes. But the fact that in today's society, there are still people in the world who, not like me, I sit, I can control pretty much anything in my house from my phone, and there are people in the world who still aren't able to have, clean water. I commend you guys for taking that so seriously. I know that's something that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation are heavily involved in as well, and it's obviously a very serious and very dire situation.
It's massive. It's just the scope of it is unbelievable when you go there and you kind of immerse yourself in the reality and stuff. But we came back with a lot of positive things. We realized that people aren't hopeless over there. They're they may be living in poverty, but they're not hopeless. A lot of them are smiling and dancing and happy to see us and stuff. Yeah. So that was pretty cool and inspiring. People actually 3daysgrace.com/give kind of tells the whole story of why we did it, what we're doing now, and if people want to get involved, how they can kind of
definitely. And you can check that out in the description of this video as well. You guys talk about writing music and being on tour all the time, and anybody I've ever talked to will describe being on tour. It's very much not like what people think it is. It kind of sucks in some ways. That's what I get from people, is that it's not this great thing. Your life is sort of suspended at home while you're out touring. So talking about writing music, are you guys who write on the road, or are you I need to get home and be able to be comfortable to some degree and then be able to write that way?
We have wrote on the road. Sometimes we do, but it's tough because you're constantly thinking of the show, and we find other stuff to do too, and play a lot of video games on days off.
You do?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. What games do you guys play?
I play Battlefield.
I'm not a gamer.
You're a Battlefield 1 guy. Yeah. So you guys have an Xbox here, and totally. Do you strictly play Battlefield 1, or do you play anything else?
Haven't been able to move off of it. I tried the new Battlefield, and it's nothing like Battlefield 1.
Battlefield V or whatever.
Yeah, I was very disappointed. I was waiting. I bought it way ahead, and then it came, and I was like, "This is." I've
played both extensively. Now I suck at them, but do you play online, or do you play? Okay,
yeah.
So. The new Battlefield has that elimination mode, the Battle Royale mode, where everybody jumps in and you only get one life, and then you die, and then it dwindles down.
Oh, really?
To one.
I didn't even get to that.
It's a thing they added way later. But the interesting thing about those games is that there's a lot of crossover between heavy metal fans and video games, and I think it's really cool that you're able to find time to do what you enjoy while you're out on tour, and it's not just your sort of stereotypical story of people just getting smashed every day and just blacking out. Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't happen to you guys.
No. It's you have a lot of you have a lot of downtime, and really but it's hard to complain about because we have all this freedom. We actually have I guess sometimes what you might call a dangerous amount of freedom to do, you know what I mean? And but sometimes you're living for those 90 minutes or for that 1 hour that you're playing. That's why everything's worth it. It's because that adrenaline, we're still addicted to that. We love the show. It's where the passion lies. But there's a lot of other hours in the day, and so sometimes I think when you don't have a routine or something or you don't have, if you feel I'm going to sleep all day, you just sleep all day. After a while, that's not the most healthy lifestyle.
No doubt.
And then you start to kind of feel like sometimes I think you almost lose a lack of purpose for all the other hours in the day that where if I was at home I'd be riding my dirt bike, or I'd be doing all the things I love, getting on a boat, going fishing or whatever, stuff like that. Or fixing something. I'd have to get a million things done, but out on the road you can get into that rut a little bit, and I think a lot of people replace that with things that they shouldn't, and, so it can be that,
That happens, even with what I do, is that if I'm not, I very well could just sleep all day, and it doesn't take a lot of time, particularly to do what I do, and that's happened to me before, where I've gotten in that rut of just like not going outside for like 3 fucking days and just like working on shit all day. And so you've got to find things to do, and that's been healthy for me as well. What's the difference? You guys are from Canada, right? Are both of you guys from Canada?
Yeah.
Is the whole band from Canada?
We're from like 40 minutes away.
40 minutes away from each other.
Yeah. Well, now I got a place actually like 5 minutes from them, and we're all that's where we go. We're like small town Canadian guys. We're like riding dirt bikes in Ontario.
Okay. I've been to Vancouver a few times. What's the difference? Would you say there's any difference, particularly? Like I hear a lot. There's like differences in European fans and American fans. Is there any really like distinct difference in the fan bases between those different countries? They're obviously huge for you in both countries.
Yeah. Well, I mean, between Canada and the U.S., it's quite similar. I think there's more ambulances showing up at the U.S. crowds for some reason than the
just
Canadian.
Crazy,
Yeah, I think there's a Canadianism. There's like mosh pit. Everyone's so apologizing to each other in the mosh pit in Canada. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
I've actually seen that. Yeah.
And then like Russian fans. I mean, we've been to Russia 5 times in the last 5 years.
Wow.
We've just seen our career just really blow up over there, so we keep going back, and they're extremely passionate fans as well. But it's kind of like it goes further. Like they know the fans, for some reason, they always know like what hotel you're staying at, what train you're on, sometimes what room you're in, what airport you're at,
that's weird.
What restaurant you're at. And I think just word travels a little bit differently.
And then
and then they're there.
Oh man, that's kind of scary to a certain degree.
I mean,
it's
they're in it.
It's flattering.
They mean well. They just want to hang out and autographs and stuff like that. But
now, have there ever been any moments for you guys? I mean, because you guys have been around for a while, and you guys have had, insane levels of success over the years, and you continue to, obviously. Have there ever been any like crazy moments where you're like, holy shit, this is kind of scary?
No, never, not once, no.
That never happened.
We've been touring for 16 years, so sure. I don't know. You gotta watch your back a little bit out there. I don't know.
Yeah, in the early days, I remember we're like, let's go out and sign for the crowd. So all of us went out and started signing, and then we just started getting, like, it was the first time that I got like totally I was like, oh god, and like just all these people around, and just got totally squished in it. I don't think I like this anymore. I gotta get the hell out of here.
That happened to Barry once at least, but he got mugged.
Oh,
they stole.
Wow.
They swung him like, autograph, and then someone ripped his wallet.
Oh shit!
So
and then you guys go back to the small town environment, and it's just like, do people like bug you there, or is it more of like a totally different like?
No, like we both live I got a place up in here, but I actually live like in a small town near Toronto, and kind of everybody knows each other, and same thing where he lives is like where they're from, so people just treat us like normal.
Yeah, that's great. They've known us all our lives, so everybody knows everybody in my small town. It's only 1,400 people.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my god, that's a real small.
I have
town.
150.
Awesome.
I have a 150-pound guard dog too, so I don't even need to lock my doors.
What kind of dog is it?
It's a Marama sheepdog. They're kind of like a Great Pyrenees, but she's friendly until she's not. So
wow.
I just kind of like, if you want to like invade my house,
just come on in.
Good luck.
Big sheepdog will take you down. So you guys are touring. That's Five Finger Death Punch, 3 Days Grace, and then Bad Wolves, right?
Yeah.
Man, that's just a crazy tour, and you guys are coming back to Virginia for that. So those tickets are available on your website, Ticketmaster, all that good stuff. As well. Is there any band that you've toured with that really stands out for you that you're like, holy shit, that was a good tour? That is something I'll never forget.
Well, with the Bad Wolves, we've become really good friends with them. Like, they're all super
So you know,
cool
like
guys.
Doc.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Doc. Check out the X-Man podcast. Doc Coyle. Yeah. So, you guys basically are one of, I think, very few bands that are like going out of their way almost, not out of their way, but like to support newer bands, and Bad Wolves is definitely a new band, and I think that if there weren't more people that were doing that for other bands, then we would be in dire straits in, in the rock world. It's like people say, oh, rock music is dead, or rock is nowhere, and there's nothing happening with rock, but when you see these crowds that you guys are bringing out, and you see what you guys are doing on the charts, and then you see like what, like a band like Slipknot is #1 around the world, and we just had Corey on the show, and they're just crushing it right now as well, and I think that's a very good thing. So, all right, let's wrap this up. One of the things that I like to sort of ask people in these interviews is if there was anything that you for each one of you, if there's anything you could tell yourself 10 years ago, based on what you know now, it could be for anything, what would that be?
10 years ago, so I would have been around, probably don't drink as much Jägermeister with Monster. I was sponsored by them at the same time. They had boxes and boxes of it. So, I would have said, lay off that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you're, I turned into this other guy named Jimmy, so.
Yeah.
Jimmy, dude, I want to meet Jimmy.
I
drink a lot of White Claw. I drink a ton of White Claw. People call my channel, instead of Rock Feed, they call it Claw Feed, because I drink so much fucking White Claw. I just have it in the background. What about you? Do you have an alter ego? Is there a Jimmy for you?
Yeah, but I sleepwalk.
Oh shit.
So my alter is like, I don't even know what I've never met the man.
Yeah.
I would like tell myself just to not sweat as much small stuff as I ended up sweating over the last 10 years. Like, in hindsight, just like just the little things that you just get wrapped up in. I mean, as a reference to our latest album, Outsider, that's kind of it touches on the idea of like, take a big step back so that you can look at something that seems like huge and crazy and uncontrollable. Take a big step back away from it and look at it in its entirety, and you'll see that it's not as big of a fucking deal as it looks like when you're right in the middle of it. Outsiders kind of touches on those themes, and I think that would be the biggest thing I'd tell myself 10 years younger.
That's fantastic advice. Well, guys, I thank you for spending the time with me when you guys are so busy and spending this time during this interview. You can check out 3 Days Grace on their website, on Ticketmaster. We've linked all that in the description. They got a bunch of shows coming up, both with Breaking Benjamin and Chevelle. You guys have some more shows for that, right? This will be out quick. So is there a lot left, or are you guys?
There's a lot left.
Oh, there is a lot left.
A month left.
Good.
Yeah.
So you got a month left. So you've got plenty of time to check out some dates, and then in the fall or kind of in the winter, they've got another massive tour with Five Finger Death Punch and Bad Wolves as well. Shout out Doc. It's going to be awesome. So thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. If you're new here, this is your first time joining the channel, you can subscribe and all that shit. And drink not as much Jägermeister and Monster Energy, and drink a little more White Claw because it's a lot more healthy.
And try to get some water in too.
Get some water in too,
water.
But White Claw it's pretty much all water. So I mean,
that's the worst. He's giving kids bad advice.
Yeah. Well, if you're over 21 and you're drinking responsibly, just chug that shit, dude. It's good. So, all right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.